Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a quarter using the fourth method, which is the pattern method. So let's go ahead and open up Fusion. These are our first three methods. We start off with the outer profile, then we use the cylinder, and then the last video we used the fillet method of making a quarter. Again, just to reiterate, this is not the best way to make a quarter. This is just a way, and I'm just trying to demonstrate different modeling techniques and features of Fusion. So please do not say that you're making this way too complicated. That's kind of the point, is just to show you all the different ways that you can ultimately get to the final design that you want. It just might not be the optimal way of doing that. So let's go ahead and make a new design, and we're going to call this quarter pattern. Okay, and just want you to think about, how could we create a quarter using a type of pattern? There's actually a few different ways, but the way that I'm going to show you is probably the most logical in my mind. I just want you to think about like a pizza, for example. If you had to make a quarter kind of like a pizza, or a circular pizza specifically, how would you create like the slices of a pizza and then create a round shape out of that? So just kind of think about that, and then we'll get started. So go ahead and turn on your origin, and then click on create sketch. We're going to select the bottom plane, and then we're going to create our circle kind of like what we did with the outside or outer profile version. So how would you start? I want to use the C shortcut command. So you could use that, but we're trying to use our shortcut. So go ahead and make sure that this is snapping to the origin there. We're going to click, draw it out, click again, and then we're going to dimension. So I got a little bit ahead of myself, but if you click D, now we're dimensioning, click, and now we're going to make it 24.3. Okay, if you don't know where dimension is, it's also up here. Click on the outside perimeter and dimension it to 24.3. And then we're going to actually do another thing, so don't click finish sketch yet. Now, if you think about making a pizza, how would you do that? So you want to draw a line, right, to kind of section off your pizza. So the next thing we can do is we can select line, which is also L on the keyboard. Again, line starts with L, so L is the shortcut. So we're going to click line, and then you'll see kind of the same thing pop up again. So let's select the center, and now let's just draw it kind of out to the side, and then you'll see it snap. So this one will actually kind of automatically constrain itself, but I'm just going, just for an example, to kind of give it an angle like that. Okay, and then I'm going to draw another one kind of at a random angle again. But again, you'll see that these are blue, and that's not what we want. We want this fully constrained. So let's go ahead and make these constrained. So one constraint that I really like a lot is this horizontal vertical constraint, and it's pretty useful in a lot of different ways. But just to demonstrate, if I click on this, essentially what it's going to do is figure out if this is closer to being horizontal or if it's closer to being vertical, and then it's going to make this line horizontal. We already have it constrained to the outside, to the circle here, because we drew it and connected it to the circle. So that's not an issue as far as like how long it can go, but it is able to rotate, which is why it's blue right now. So if we click on this, it's going to snap to horizontal. So click, and now you'll see it's horizontal, and you see that little icon, which means that it is horizontally constrained. But we still have this one, which is not constrained. So the way that I would constrain this, actually we have a couple different options depending on how many slices of pizza we want, but I think let's go ahead and try horizontal vertical again. And so it actually made it horizontal because it was more horizontal than it was vertical. So let's click undo, so Command Z, click Command Z again. Now we have this, and now we don't have any operations selected, so we can click and drag and kind of make it go a little bit more vertical, and you can see how it'll kind of snap, but that's not fully constraining it yet. So let's go ahead and make it horizontal vertical now. There we go. Just kind of click around, sometimes it'll confuse it a little bit, but now you click there, and now we see we have two black lines. Everything's fully constrained, so we can go ahead and click finish sketch. All right, so now we need to extrude this out. And so you probably understand what I'm trying to do now. Is I'm essentially going to make a single big slice of pizza, and then we're going to pattern that in a circle. So let's go ahead and extrude, or click E on your keyboard, select the slice, and then we're going to extrude up 1.8 millimeter. All right, and so now we have 1/4 of a quarter. So the next step would be to apply a pattern. So if we go up here, this is a rectangular pattern, which is, if you kind of highlight it, you can see that that's, if you're trying to make a checkerboard pattern, something like that, you could use the rectangular pattern. Or if you just want to make a pattern in a straight line, essentially, you can also use rectangular pattern. But what we want to do is do a circular pattern. So if you click on the down arrow for create and then go to pattern, there's a circular pattern, and that's what we want to do. So click on circular pattern, and here is our circular pattern window here. So the type, obviously we want a circular pattern. This is that rectangular pattern, which is also here. So if we needed to change it, we could do rectangular pattern, but again, we're using circular pattern. The object type, for now, bodies is correct. The objects, which is what we actually want to pattern, so that's going to be the object or the body that we have. So we're going to click on that. It's only one thing. And then the axis, we're going to select this. It's just going to be this z-axis here. So if we click on the home view, it's kind of hard to see from back here, so you might want to rotate around, get a little bit better view. We want to select that blue arrow. And so now it's kind of giving you a preview of what that would look like if you only did a pattern of 3 bodies. So I'm going to go back to the home view. And if we make this into 4 bodies, you can see that now we have a full round disc-shaped object. And so now we can click OK. So now we have our quarter again. But the only issue here is that these are all separate bodies. So if we go down to our tree here, or our browser, you can see that we can hide individual bodies. So that's not really what we want. We want one single body that's a quarter. So the way to do that is to click combine, and this is going to essentially make all these bodies into a single body. So you can select any one of them that you want as the target body, and then tool bodies, you can select all the others. And then our operation is going to be join. So you should be able to see there this join operation. This one's cut, and then that one is intersect. We want join, which is kind of the default here. And then we can keep these unchecked for now. That's not really necessary at this point. So click OK. And now you see we have a single body. So now we have recreated the quarter using a pattern. And you can kind of play around with this. So say we wanted to do 8 slices, right? So let's go back to the sketch, edit sketch. And now let's make another line. I'm just going to leave these here for now. But you can click L on your keyboard, which is line. You can see it highlighted up there. Select the origin. And then if you, for whatever reason, didn't select the circle, let's just say we messed up and we selected out here, you get this kind of continuation line where you can draw another line. But to get that off, you just click the arrow. So the first thing you want to do if you did this would be to come up and click coincident, and then you want to make this point coincident with the circle. So now that point is stuck on the circle. We can click escape to get off of the coincident constraint, and now you can see it can go, around, around, around. So now we just need to give this angle a dimension. So if we click D on the keyboard, which is dimension, we can click here and then click here. Let's try that again. Dimension. Sometimes you have to click a couple times, but you should ultimately, I'm just going to undo it all the way. D for dimension, here, and then here. And you should get an angle. And, if you want to put this in the middle, you would say 90 divided by 2. So let's just go ahead and do that. 90 divided by 2, or you might know that it's 45 degrees. So now we're going to click Finish Sketch. Now on the extrusion, we're going to click Edit Feature. And we're going to unselect that one. So now we just have 1/8 of a circle. Click OK. And now the next thing we would need to do is just change how many how many bodies we pattern. So quantity now would be 8. Okay. And then for this, we'll have to change this to additional bodies. All right. So now we made a quarter from 8 slices. So these are all ways to make a quarter. So hopefully you got something out of this. Again, you can do this a lot of different ways, but I think that this is really just a good demonstration of how to use the circular pattern command or option, which is something that can be useful from time to time. So hopefully you got something out of it, and thanks for watching.